extra responsibilities, so you love a challenge. I would be interested in like what you did.
It was basically speaking, selling, training, and leadership. All was a part of it.
Yeah. So I would say start to put down, like write those if you're proud of that work too. Because then you would know that you were the most happy when you were like speaking and selling, unless it really is about the reward. Like if you're like,
I'm actually not used to recognition, so the fact that I got that and that was like bigger than anything ever,
cool.
I'm still,
Yeah, so that might go.
Letting myself feel it even.
Yeah, so that might be, actually moving into my second point. So my first one is, what do you like to do, your favorite skills? So if you can figure that out, you're a zillion steps ahead of everybody else who's launching a business or looking for a job, because they start with their resume or what jobs are available. So they're already narrowing where they could even compete. And you're starting with like, this is the things that I love to do, right? And you can also go to a recruiter and you can talk about this on your LinkedIn page. You can bring all the information about the things that you love and then talk about that, and that's your selling feature. And it doesn't even matter what sector. Now, being able to do what you love can make you kind of happy. But if you're doing it in the wrong environment, it's not going to make you super happy. So I was working as an arts educator for, like, you can tell, drama teacher. So I was working as an art educator for a bunch of years, like 18 years, and not making a whole lot of money at it. So I was like, how can I have an MEd and be teaching all these things, and people think I'm awesome, but I'm still making like no money, and I'm crying about money, and how come people, and I'm sorry, but I was like, people in suits get to be not so smart and make a whole bunch of money. I'm like, I just want to do that. I want to be a guy in a suit, like badly. So yeah, so you're my dream of your success. So then I looked at, I had taken all these like arts degrees and education degrees, and I was like, what is like a business thing that I could get into? And so I looked at all the different kind of businessy things, and I went, human resources. That feels like the softest of the business things that I could go into. So I did a certificate in human resources. And then what I did is that I decided that people in suits were very serious. That they didn't have personalities, and they were very serious, and I started to go to job interviews not smiling. So if you can imagine, I think I've had 3 or 4 people come to me who haven't seen my videos or don't know me, and they're just like, your smile. So I'm kind of born with a smile. But I decided that HR professionals didn't smile. So I would go to interviews, best acting gig of my life, pretending that I was ultra serious, really passionate about HR, and I don't know why, but I never landed a job. Right? Like, I just didn't land the job. So then, I read more books, and then I decided that I will just be Kerri. And I went to an interview, and the only thing I did was I wore pantyhose, and I shouldn't, because it was way too hot to do that, but I was like, this is professional. And I went, and the job was for outplacement. So outplacement is where a company would call, and they would say, we're going to let Stu go at 2 o'clock on Monday. I would show up at 1:30, coach the manager how to deliver the news. He would let that employee go, and I was the first person they would meet after they had lost their job. And so in the interview, she said, do you have any experience helping people in stressful situations? And I was like, all of the interview books would have like me thinking about some business situation, and I said, for a lot of years I wanted to be a drama therapist, and I would work with really sick babies and children that were dying, and my job was just to play with them, and it was a volunteer role. And I gained trust with these parents that their child might die while I was there, but they trusted me in the room that if their child was to die, that I was fine for them to die with. And they would go and have a shower or go have coffee and come back. But it was months of volunteering, building relationships, and she was like, okay, you can do this work. But that would be against what all the interview books would say, which is don't talk about a volunteer thing, don't make it about like children, don't mention any of those things. And it actually was like, it worked by being me. The other thing, so I got past interview 1, interview 2, I went, so it was in a big office, 16th floor, like in Winnipeg, a porch in Maine, fountain, like fancy.
Impressive.
Yeah, and I showed up, and the VP was going to make the decision as if they would hire me or not. And she said, "Oh, Kerri, like we're impressed so far with all this, but we're not, part of this job is doing presentations, and we're not sure, so I want to make sure that you can do a presentation. So I'm going to leave, and then in 2 minutes, I'll come back and you can do a presentation." And I was not prepared for this at all. And so what I did, can I use your pen? So she came back, and the only presentation I could think of was the presentation I had done a couple days before. So she sat down and she said, "Go." And I went, "Okay. This is how you check a child's head for lice." And then I acted out, splitting the hair and how to find the knit and pulling it off and calming the child. And I acted out this whole thing, and I ended up getting the job.